70,000 hours. That is how much time you will spend working in your lifetime. Your prehistoric ancestors? Less than a third of that. And this isn't just a theory. It's not nostalgia either. It is what anthropologists have measured in the field, among the last societies still living as humanity did for 99% of its history. So, how did we get from there to here? And more importantly, what have we lost along the way without even realizing it? That is what we are going to explore in this video. And before we go any further, let's be honest, it wasn't paradise. One child in two never reached adulthood. A hunting injury with no medicine could be fatal. Conflicts between groups happened. So did predators. But on one specific point, just one, the data is beyond dispute. They worked far less than you do. And in many other ways, they may have lived better than we tend to believe. That's exactly what we're about to see. In the 1960s, an American anthropologist named Richard Lee did something unusual. Instead of staying in his office theorizing, he went to live for several months in Botswana with the hoansi, a people who still live today the way our ancestors lived for hundreds of thousands of years. And by the way, if you've seen the film The Gods Must Be Crazy, these are exactly those people. That group we watch with an amused smile in the movie? Pause this video right now if you haven't seen it. We'll wait. So, Richard Lee followed them day after day for months, notebook in hand, to understand how they organized their time. What he measured was so unexpected that at first he thought he'd made a mistake. Hoansi adults spent, on average, 17 hours a week feeding themselves. Hunting, gathering, preparation, everything included. 17 hours. The rest? Free. But Richard Lee wasn't the only one observing this. On the other side of the planet, in Tanzania, the Hadza, in Paraguay, the Aceh, in Australia, the Matu. 4 peoples, 4 continents, 4 radically different environments, one single result. Between 15 and 20 hours of work per week. You do double that to survive in a system infinitely more complex. Someone should explain to us where it all went off the rails. Maybe you're thinking, all right, they worked less, but their bodies must have paid the price. Malnutrition, exhaustion, physical wear and tear. Archaeologists dug into this question. Literally, when you compare human skeletons from before and after the invention of agriculture, something troubling appears. Prehistoric hunter-gatherers were tall, well-fed. Their teeth are in good condition. Their bones show signs of intense, varied physical activity, but not repetitive, not damaged, not broken. Now look at the first farmers. Shorter, sometimes by as much as 10 centimeters. Jaws ravaged by cavities, the direct consequence of a diet suddenly dominated by grain. Vertebrae compressed by years of plowing. Knees and hips worn down by identical motions, repeated thousands of times. And a shorter life expectancy. This isn't a minor detail, it's universal. Everywhere archaeologists find the dividing line between hunter-gatherers and farmers in the geological layers, the same physical decline appears. Agriculture didn't free humans from toil, it chained them to it. So why then did we make the switch? Patience, we're getting there. But first, we need to see what these people did with their free time. Because that's where it gets really interesting. Picture it. You're deep inside a cave, no electric light, just the flickering flame of a lamp burning animal fat. Around you, the rock is cold and damp. And yet you've been there for hours, not to hide, not to survive, to paint. That's what someone did 36,000 years ago in what is now called Chauvet Cave in the south of France. Discovered in 1994, it holds some of the oldest known paintings in human history. Galloping horses, lions on the prowl, woolly rhinos, rendered with a sense of movement, depth and detail that still stuns art historians today. This isn't a scribble, it's mastery, and mastery takes time. A lot of time. But there's something older still. In South Africa, in Botswana Cave, carefully pierced seashell beads. 100,000 years old. The nearest sea, about 20 kilometers away. Someone walked 40 kilometers to gather shells, then walked back. then spent hours drilling tiny holes in each one with stone tools to make a necklace. In Germany, a flute carved from the bone of a vulture, 40,000 years old, 5 finger holes perfectly spaced. A modern musicologist analyzed it. It plays perfectly in tune. Its maker wasn't improvising. They knew music. These objects raise a simple and dizzying question. If these people were constantly fighting to survive, when did they find the time to do all of this? The answer? They weren't fighting constantly. They had time, and they did with it exactly what humans do when they have time. They created. But concretely, what did a day actually look like? Not in the romantic fantasy of cavemen, in reality, as the data lets us reconstruct it. Dawn. The camp wakes slowly. No one gets up to the sound of an alarm. The fire is rekindled. People eat what's left from the day before. Dried meat, berries, tubers. The first conversations begin. Light, practical. Who heard what during the night? What we'll do this morning? Maybe a group goes hunting. Maybe not. If the previous day's food is still enough, no one is obliged to go anywhere. When a hunt does happen, it looks nothing like what you see in the movies. Humans have a unique ability among mammals to run for a long time without overheating. We sweat. Most animals can't shed heat as efficiently, so we don't chase them at full speed. We follow them, methodically, for hours under the sun, until they collapse from heat exhaustion. It's slow, it's almost meditative, and it takes between 3 and 6 hours, travel included. By mid-afternoon, the group is back. They eat together, and here, this is what most people never picture. The productive day is over. The anthropologist James Sussman, who spent years with the hoansi, documented that they devote, on average, 6 hours a day to what he simply calls social time. Not work, not sleep, just being together, talking, laughing, caring for the children, making things without any urgency. And when night falls, the fire becomes the center of everything. In 2014, the anthropologist Polly Weissner published a study that caused quite a stir. She analyzed hundreds of hours of recorded conversations among the hoansi, separating daytime exchanges from nighttime ones. By day, practical talk, organization, logistics, minor conflicts to settle. At night, around the fire, 81% of exchanges turned into stories, tales of distant journeys, imaginary characters, myths about the origin of the world, jokes that made the whole camp roar with laughter. Weissner states it plainly, this is where human culture was born. Not in the first cities, not in the first writing systems. Around a fire, at night, when the belly is full and danger has moved away. And sleep itself was not what it is for you. Historical research on medieval texts, confirmed by clinical studies conducted in the 1990s, shows that before the invention of artificial light, humans naturally slept in 2 phases. A first sleep of about 4 hours, then a waking period of 1 to 2 hours, used to think, to talk quietly in the dark, to let the mind wander. Then a second sleep until dawn. That nighttime waking you call insomnia, the one that fills you with anxiety, that's your brain working exactly as it was designed to. About 10,000 years ago, something shifts. In several parts of the world, independently, the Fertile Crescent in the Middle East, the Yellow River Basin in China, the valleys of Central America, human groups begin deliberately cultivating plants, keeping animals instead of hunting them, agriculture. And here's how the trap works. Farming produces more food from the same patch of land than gathering does. More food lets more people survive. More people need more food. So you farm more. The population doubles, triples, explodes. And at that point, going back is impossible. There are too many mouths to feed to return to hunting and gathering. You're a prisoner of the system you created. Meanwhile, the work grows massively heavier. Plowing the land, sowing, weeding, irrigating, watching over it, harvesting, storing. and starting over every year, without exception, until death. But agriculture also brings something new and dangerous: the ability to accumulate. For the first time in human history, some can have more than others, far more. Whoever controls the granary controls the group. Hierarchies are born: chiefs, priests, soldiers to defend or to take. Then specialization: the blacksmith, the potter, the weaver, people who no longer produce their own food, but trade their time and their skills for it. Kings, merchants, employers, and finally, the idea that will shape all of human civilization right up to today. Your time belongs to someone else, in exchange for the resources to survive. We call it a wage. Let's come back to that number, 70,000 hours. Your hunter-gatherer ancestors didn't spend a third of that working. They had time. Time no one had bought, time no one could lay claim to, time that belonged entirely to them. They used it to create works of art in caves, to make useless, beautiful jewelry, to invent music, to spend 6 hours a day simply being with the people they loved, to tell stories around a fire until sleep took them. But on this point, time, freedom, connection to others, they had something we're still desperately searching for today. We call it balance, well-being, slow living, unplugging. We write books about it, podcasts, therapy. Our ancestors had no word for it, because it wasn't a goal to reach. It was simply life. 70,000 hours, that's what it cost you.